Oh mama. Oh, I'm so gonna lose my license. Hey again guys, Steve here from Australian 4x4 Adventures again, and it's a freaking cold morning here today in brisk Melbourne at Safari 4x4 Engineering here in Croydon. Car's getting some pretty cool stuff done to it today, so we're doing the Armax Safari Snorkel, which is an amazing bit of kit, and the ECU management system, so essentially they're power upgrades for the car. Actually really looking forward to it. So today they're giving us a heap of access into the factory, so they're going to let us film it all just so I can share it with you guys. So they're going to do the install of the ECU. I get to talk to the head engineer who developed the actual the hardware and the software for the ECU management. He's going to explain a whole bunch of detail to us. It's going to be fantastic, so let's go have a squeeze.
The heart of the system.
Yep.
So
it's good.
It does. There's a lot of high quality parts about this. So full billet aluminium base,
Yep.
ABS glass reinforced top. This little automotive vent here actually, what that does is balances the pressure inside the unit and outside.
Yep.
But what it also does, and the most important job, is it removes condensation from inside the unit.
Yep, that's important.
Okay, so that's so it controls its own environment inside the unit, which is really important. Yep. IP68 rated, so completely dust proof, and you can submerge it beyond 1 meter continuously. So I don't have any issues with doing river crossings.
Yep, good. Because I've had water well up my windscreen before.
And I guess even if you're not going to go through rivers, because some people with guys with 200s just aren't going to ever do that, you know.
Too attractive sometimes, yeah.
But if you're driving around even in really high dusty conditions,
Yep.
dust is also a large killer of electronics.
Yep.
And obviously heat and vibration. Yep. So inside here we have obviously the billet base acts as a heat sink for the PCB.
Yep.
And then it has a formal coating inside the PCB, which actually helps transfer that heat away from the PCB and into the actual base itself.
Oh, yeah.
That then stems into the loom, and this unfortunately is one of the most, I guess, no one ever gives wiring enough credit, you know. But like anything, we have a scenario where we've got very fine signals floating everywhere.
Yep.
And wiring and connections and joints all affect those little signals, so we don't want anything to interfere with that.
Yep.
So all gold-plated terminals, all original connectors. These are actually genuine connectors, they're not Chinese copies.
Okay. Yep.
So we actually go to the trouble of finding the right one. That's actually a real challenge.
Yep.
To ensure that we're not giving you something that's a copy or a second or a generic brand. We're actually giving you a genuine brand. Yep. So that's kind of nice. All IP rated as well.
Yep.
You can't have an IP rated unit and then have this as your weak link,
It's only
because
as strong as the weakest link.
100%. So this is all fully IP rated. Even the comms port, this cap's all IP rated as well. So you just don't get dust or dirt and stuff in there.
Yep.
When you need to connect to it or you want to connect to it,
Yep.
you can't have a scenario where you plug the cable in and it doesn't work.
Oh, it's full of mud.
It's all plug and play, as you can see. No cutting, soldering, wiring required.
Yep.
And it's actually rated to 110 degrees, which is higher than 90% of most vehicles' OE's wiring looms. So
Yep.
dual layer protection.
Yep.
You can steam clean it. You can water, you know, all that sort of stuff. Doesn't influence or hurt the loom in any scenario.
Never say you can steam clean your wiring loom.
Knock yourself out. Steam clean, no problems. People are going to do that. You go full drive and you've got mud everywhere. The first thing they do is pop the bonnet, fresh,
Yep,
you know.
spray
So
off water.
this isn't going to be influenced by that.
Yep. So how does your product differ from someone else's? Like, why is yours better than everyone else's on the market?
Look, I guess
There's a few out there.
Yeah, IP rated. The features that we have with the map select switch, obviously the engine protection systems, I think really set us apart from our competitors. The ability to integrate with the factory car with CAN bus. We can run auxiliary inputs and outputs from the device, so we can actually run additional units or aftermarket accessories from our unit and have it automatically controlled. There's a bunch of different features that we have that no one else can offer, and I think the quality level of the unit, no one has the quality level that we have.
So looking at it, looks fantastic. It looks like a nice bit of kit. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of downsides in products that are out there now, and we wanted to make sure that we didn't have that downside. And the idea is that it's there for life. We don't expect it to be anything less than that.
Obviously, we touched on aftermarket services before. I think I've seen something about you guys can log into the actual computer from remote positions.
Correct.
Stuff
Yeah.
like that,
And that's another unique feature too. So the software for our unit is free. Any customer can download that, and they can also obviously view the ECU yourself. We can obviously show you that on yours once it's finished. We can also remote access that unit anywhere in the world, providing that person has an internet connection.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, so right now, if we got a call from someone, say in Darwin, that potentially thinks they have a problem, we can actually log into their ECU, check what's going on, and then 9 times out of 10 we actually tell them, yeah, your fuel filter's blocked, or no, this is a problem, or whatever. It never ends up being our product, but we actually are able to use our product to help the customer diagnose something else going wrong with their car.
That's brilliant.
So it's a really cool feature like that, and I think people really appreciate that level of support, you know.
Fantastic. And there was 5 different tune or maps with it?
Yeah, 5 different settings that come done. They offer different driving characteristics between map 1 and map 2, which has been comfort and sport. Then we have a really unique feature, which is predictable towing. I'm not sure whether you know about or heard about this.
I have heard it, but I'd love an explanation.
So most people that currently offer towing solution, it's a derated version from their power setting. When you're towing, you need the extra power, you need the extra performance for overtaking, for climbing hills, etc. The problem is if they don't have protection systems in place that are sophisticated enough to look after the vehicle in all aspects, then they go on the cautious side and remove some power. We don't need to do that. We give you the same maximum power and torque safely and reliably. But what we do have is obviously the protection systems that are activated and working in all maps. But when you're in towing mode, you activate a mode where the ECU will learn the load on the back of the car. So when you're towing, we don't know what you're going to tow.
It varies all the time. Well, I tow 2 different things as it is. It's a 2.5 ton camper versus a 1 ton trailer.
Right.
It's very different.
So you have, sometimes you've got a scenario, and we can use an extreme scenario for this to show the concept, but you know, you can tow your dirt bike trailer, right? It's 300 or 400 kilos. You don't really even know on the back of a Toyota it's even there. So there's not a lot of load, right? Then you go and put your 3.5 ton caravan on the back, which is a large wind resistance, plus it's got a lot of weight. So the load is totally different. The ECU will adapt itself to give you the best power and torque safely and reliably, whilst giving you a focus on fuel consumption while you're towing as well, because that's important. Having long range is important when you're touring. So another aspect of how the towing mode works, you mentioned a camper trailer before. So I guess you set off with your family on a trip and you drive the first part on bitumen, so it's relatively flat, pretty easy driving. You've got, you know, your vehicle maybe 3.5 ton or something along those lines. Maybe your camper's 2 ton, so you're about 5.5 total. You then get to your destination, but now you're on sand. Your GVM and your GCM is still the same, but the load on the car is totally different. The ECU will adapt itself to suit that condition. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to change anything, you don't have to plug anything in. It'll automatically learn that and correct itself.
Specifically, what would it do? Just change more like the torque settings? It'll give you more low down torque, or just...
Yeah, so what it does is it learns different parameters to protect the engine at all times. But it learns what you're demanding out of the car and then adjusts itself to give you the best possible power and torque safely and reliably.
Yep.
So it's a really nice feature.
Yep.
You know, you've got a camper trailer today.
Yep.
Next month you trade that in, you go and buy a van.
Yep. All of a sudden, it's 3.5.
You're now optimised.
Yep.
So the idea is to always have the best.
Yep.
And that's why I guess we have the 5 different maps. You have the ability to always select the right application for what you're doing.
Yep. You touched on fuel economy before. Obviously, each car is going to be different. Each driving style is going to be different to what you get. Do you get a bit of a benefit for fuel, or is it just if you drive it really hard, you're going to get about the same? If you drive it nicely, you might get an improvement, or?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it is, I guess, a topic that is, you know, there's a lot of controversy around fuel consumption.
As always.
What our advice to people is that if you're currently driving a specific route in a specific way, and you say use 18 litres per 100 k's, we offer you that if you drive that same route in the same way with the ECU connected, you'll use between 1 to 1.5 litres better. So you'll drop down to say 17 to 16.5, somewhere around there.
Significant over time.
Some people report back more, but we generally don't have anyone come back and say to us that it's using more than what it was previously. So, but we have to make sure we're comparing apples with apples.
Of course,
and we're not comparing different routes and different conditions.
It's hard. And about different driving styles. Like someone might be on the loud pedal the whole time, where someone else is driving like an old grandpa, and it's two completely different styles there. So.
Correct. So, but if you do compare those two styles, if you're driving it, I guess if you're giving the car a harder time, if you still drive it that same, so you've got that direct comparison. You should see that. So it's a difficult one because there's so many things that influence fuel economy: tyres, tyre pressures, what accessories you have fitted, etc. These all affect fuel consumption, and but a lot of people report back that, especially when they're towing, they actually get beyond that. So, which is a really nice benefit to have the extra power, have the extra torque and the better drivability, but you get that better range as well out of the car.
This one probably won't make it in. The 6th gear in these things is hard to try and get into. Does this affect that at all? Is there any sort of benefit to helping get into 6 without getting a full lock-up kit installed or anything else? Or nothing really?
We don't specifically modify the shift patterns from 5th to 6th. But what we do have commented back to us that it tends to find 6th gear a little easier and a little bit more frequently. Correct. That's a common thing that we sort of hear feedback.
That's a big thing, and a lot of people going out and spending $1,500, $2,000 on a lock-up kit. If you can get a bit of benefit out of this at the same time, then it's sort of covering a lot of bases with the same product. So
that's right. So, and that could be an option that we add to our ECU into the future. We have the ability to obviously update and upgrade these into the future. So it very well possibly could be a feature that we add to our product range to give people that benefit as well.
Fantastic. Where's that one? Thanks, man.
Map 2 is what you want.
Map 2? first impression driving the car? Oh mama! Oh, I'm so gonna lose my license. That's torquey and smooth. Like, when I say torquey, it just pulls awesomely, and it's just, oh, I don't know how to explain it. It just gets up to speed before you even know it. I thought these things were good before. This thing is amazing. They said to me while I was in there that most people say this is the way that Toyota should have built the car. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure everyone says that. Toyota should have built the car this way. This thing is phenomenal now. I'm just going to have some fun for a while. Right, so I've had this Safari ECU and Snorkel on for about 2 weeks now. Probably told by the new haircut and change of clothes and stuff. That's thoughts. The only thing that really comes to mind is, wow, just holy crap balls. That's for something that can transform a car like that. And I don't know how to explain this 100%, but something that can transform a car just by essentially adding it on and make it feel like a brand new car again, and like the way it should have been made in the first place. It's so much more drivable. Overtaking's easier. I haven't done any towing yet, so I can't really comment on that part of it, but from the way it feels now, it's certainly going to feel amazing. It's towy, it's just really nice to drive, and just everything just feels so smooth and so buttery. It's really hard to describe. I think you've kind of got to go drive one yourself and see what it's like. Whether it's down at Safari and ask them if they can borrow one of their cars for half an hour and see what it feels like, or if you've got a mate who's got one. It's absolutely phenomenal in how it actually feels and performs. The modes driving, in the sense of the 1 to 5. So 1 is comfort, 2 is sport, 3 is towing, 4 is off-road traction, and 5 is off. So essentially you have it so it doesn't do anything. They told me I'd like to drive it in 2, because that's sport mode, so it's got the most power. I think it's too much. I actually don't like driving it in number 2 because there's too much power. It's too sensitive. You're constantly just going so hard with it. It's amazing if you want that performance. It's phenomenal that they can get that out of a car. But for me, I'm a bit more laid back, a bit more cruisy, and I like to have a bit of power when I need it, but I'm pretty cruisy when the way I drive. So for me, number 1, comfort mode is spot on. It's just a nice, even, gradual power, so the more I put the foot down, the more power I get. That's just the way I like to drive. And would I buy it again? Bloody oath I would. It's worth every cent. I think the car's running cooler. I don't know about fuel economy yet because I've only had it for 2 weeks. I've only just refilled the car now. For the last tank, I got about the same as what I normally get. It was around the 15-16 litres. But that tank included all the dyno runs that you're seeing. And that first week I was driving it pretty hard because, hey, I've got the extra power, why not? So to get the same fuel economy by driving it harder, I'm pretty impressed by that. I'll see how it goes. I'm sort of driving a bit more normally now. I've had it for a couple of weeks, so I'll see how it goes over time. I'm going to put up a couple more videos down the track, one probably explaining more and showing the difference of the driving modes between comfort, sport and all that. One want to do a towing one as well, and probably one a bit more in detail about fuel economy down the track as well, just to see if there is any difference. Right, so in regards to the power, obviously I've shown the dyno runs exactly as they were ran. So it was 177 kilowatts at the wheels in performance based on a 285/60 18-inch rim. So the standard tyres that come out with a new 200 series. We wanted to do that just so we had a baseline of where the car should be at, and then we could sort of compare. Obviously I've got slightly bigger tyres on now. I've got a 285/75 17, and they're in the muddy as well, so that's got slightly more resistance. There's so many variables to running it up on a dyno and everything else, so air temperature, quality of fuel can play into it a little bit as well, blocked air filters, blocked fuel filters. There's so many variables on actual power, but from start to finish I had a 30% or 31% increase in power, so kilowatts, and I think it was a 29% increase in torque overall. That's phenomenal. So your car might get more, might get less. As a guide though, I didn't hide anything. I didn't try and fudge any figures or show a different dyno of a different car. I've literally showed you my car on the dyno, recorded the whole thing from start to finish, so you guys get to see exactly what happened on the day. That's about it for this one, guys. So thanks heaps for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully there's enough information in there for you. If you like this kit, please go down, see Safari, give them a call. Any ARB store, there's a heap of retailers all around the country. Give them a call, go grab one, because I sure as hell will not have a car without one. Any car I have from now on, I'm going to be getting these in it. They are absolutely primo. Amazing bit of kit, amazing people, amazing service, amazing quality of service and hardware. I can't speak highly enough of them. So yeah, thank you very much Safari, thank you very much Dwayne for running me through everything. Jason for giving me permission to actually film it, and I know obviously it's your workplace, so letting just a random person from YouTube come and do a whole bunch of video work inside your workshop is probably a little bit invasive, but thanks for opening it up to me and my viewers. And yeah, so enjoy it guys, don't forget to like and subscribe as well, and I will see you in the next one.